Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're turning you into an RF detective. We're going to track down the invisible interference that might be completely ruining your radio reception. So get your gear ready because we are going hunting for signals.
You know the feeling. You're dialing in a faint signal on the HF bands and out of nowhere, bam! This massive wall of harsh electronic noise just wipes it out. It's incredibly frustrating, right? Well, if you're experiencing harsh buzzes or random dropouts on your receiver, you are absolutely not alone. Today, we're going to hunt down those culprits and take back the airwaves.
All right, let's kick things off with Part 1, the invisible RFI menace. So step 1 in this investigation is knowing your enemy, radio frequency interference, or RFI. And the wild thing about RFI, the source could be miles away, just riding down the power lines, or it could literally be right next door in your neighbor's house. Let's look at the usual suspects. You've got power lines, which can throw off a constant, raspy buzz that changes with the weather, usually arcing when it's dry. Then you've got the sharp, repeating ticks of a nearby electric fence. Or maybe you're hearing a pulsing sound. That's the classic giveaway of a battery charger. Pinning down that noise type is your first major clue.
Moving on to Part 2, identifying those specific noise signatures.
To catch the really disruptive offenders, the ones polluting entire neighborhoods, you need to recognize their unique sonic fingerprints. Your ears are your absolute best sensors here. Take switching power supplies, for instance. They're in basically all modern electronics, and they produce this regular, growling sound. But then, you have high-powered grow lights. Man, these things are notorious. They switch on in massive, timed 12 to 16-hour daily cycles. Because they pull so much power, their poorly filtered ballasts can basically turn house wiring into a giant transmitting antenna. You can sometimes hear these things over 1,000 feet away, just completely obliterating the 40-meter band.
Okay, let's talk gear in Part 3, building the loop antenna.
Every good detective needs a gadget, right? You can't exactly walk around the neighborhood waving a massive Yagi antenna. So we're going to build a highly practical, handheld, direction-finding loop. It's a beautifully simple design. You've got two main parts working in harmony. A larger 2.75 microhenry resonant tuning loop on the top, and, positioned right near it, a smaller offset coupling loop. No high voltage parts required, and it's perfect just for receiving.
Now, getting the capacitance right is an absolute must, so this thing listens exactly where you want it to. As you move up in frequency, the required capacitance values drop like a rock. Down low at 1.9 MHz, you'd need a whopping 2,550 picofarads. But bump that up to 21.2 MHz, you're looking at just 20.
So to keep things super practical for this build, you'll want to grab a single-section 365 picofarad variable capacitor. That right there is your sweet spot. It comfortably covers that essential 5 to 25 MHz tracking range. And that is perfect because it hits the 40-meter band where so much of this severe consumer RFI, like those nasty grow light ballasts, just loves to hide. Let's actually put that coupling loop together. It takes 3 precise steps. First, grab some 12-gauge copper wire and bend it into a 5-inch circle. Next, slip that into a 1/4-inch plastic tubing to keep it protected. Third, and this is super important for your feed line, wind a ballon with exactly 3.5 turns of RG174 coax through 2 Type 43 ferrite cores. Mount the whole thing on a stick or a PVC pipe, and boom, you've got a lightweight, killer tracking tool.
All right, on to Part 4, tracking with signal nulls.
You've got your antenna built, but now we need to master the absolute most important concept in this whole investigation, the signal null. Since a loop antenna is bidirectional, when you turn it broadside to a vertically polarized noise source, the signal doesn't peak. It practically falls off a cliff. That sudden, razor-sharp drop is your signal null, and it tells you with incredible precision exactly what direction that interference is coming from. Here's exactly how you handle the antenna to find it. Hold the loop right over your head, feed point at the bottom. Twist it edgewise until that noise is screaming loud on your receiver. Got the peak? Great. Now twist your body exactly 90 degrees until the noise suddenly disappears. Right then, you are looking straight through the center of that loop, like a crosshair on a scope, pointing straight at your target.
Now for Part 5, mapping and triangulation.
Pointing at the noise is great, but to actually track it down, we need geometry. We're going mapping. Try this proven field method. Step outside your house and grab a solid compass reading on a null. Next, walk about 500 feet perfectly perpendicular to that first line and shoot a second null. Then, walk 500 feet the other way and get a third. Finally, take those compass bearings, hop onto a digital map tool like Scribble Maps, and draw those 3 lines radiating out.
Now, when you look at those lines, you'll notice something. Because of real-world quirks like magnetic variation or signal bounces, they are never going to cross at one tiny, perfect dot. Instead, they'll form a small triangle. We call this the triangle of confusion. But honestly, it's really your treasure map. The culprit generating that RFI is hiding right inside or immediately adjacent to that specific area. Almost there. Part 6, Home Testing and Safety.
Okay, before you go marching over to that triangle and knocking on doors, we absolutely must talk safety. Rule number 1, make sure the call isn't coming from inside the house. Always drop your own main breaker first to kill all power, and listen on a battery-powered radio. If the noise vanishes, well, the problem is your own gear. If it's still there, it's external. Also, if your triangulation leads you straight to a wooden utility pole with a sparking transformer, stop right there. Get the pole number and call the power company. Under no circumstances do you ever touch utility equipment. Let the pros handle that part.
So there you have it. You are now fully armed. You've got the schematics, you know the sonic signatures to listen for, and you have the mapping techniques to trap the signal right in that triangle of confusion. The airwaves belong to all of us, and it is time to reclaim them. So I'll leave you with this for the explainer. Grab your receiver, step outside, and ask yourself, what invisible culprit is polluting your neighborhood's airways right now? Happy hunting, everyone!